Welcome to Gold Derby. I'm senior editor Denton Davidson here with Sebastian from the Challenge USA, who was eliminated in the arena by Chris, a supposed Survivor Alliance member in Thursday night's episode. Sebastian, you were the first Survivor player to go home, and you had this incredible run going. What were your thoughts when TJ pulled your name out of that hopper and called you down to face off against Chris?
Yeah, deflating. We wanted to roll with Survivor all the way, and we were very strong. Like that's one of the best things about Survivor players is that you form an alliance and you stick together. So that was super cool. I mean, we got all the way down to the halfway point where we had half the numbers were Survivor competitors, and then other were challenge and a mixed bag. So it was really cool to go all the way. But me and Chris talked about this on day one. We knew we were going to have to go in that elimination ring together at some point because we were the only two Survivor males. So it was unfortunate, but we made it a solid month without really. Chris got thrown in a couple times or whatever, but it was a pretty nice ride. It just sucks to have to go against your best friend in the house.
Yeah, and once Chris was named a target, you made this push to get Corey in. And news travels fast in that house. Corey confronted you and you tried to push the blame onto Chris, but that didn't really work. So you got a lot of names in the hopper. What was your biggest mistake? Do you think people would have kept the focus on Tyler if you had just kept your mouth shut?
No, I don't. I think it was obvious in the house that before that night when we all went out and I talked to Tori about putting Corey in. I think it was obvious that I was going in. So it was something that I needed to do for myself. Like that's the reason I didn't win Survivor was because I didn't get Wendell and Dom, the two big guys that ended up finishing first and second out of the game. That was my biggest regret from Survivor. So I said, how can I help myself win this time? Corey never had a target on his back the whole season. Him and Fessy, they float, they go stay in their rooms. Everyone forgets about them. They never get a ball in the hopper because nobody wants to compete against them. But for me, it was like, all right, I obviously have to do something here. I was getting closer with Johnny, closer with Wes, and kind of closer with Fessy. So Corey was kind of the name that I never really connected with. And it just felt fitting to go for him. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, and we didn't vote for Corey. But I don't think it would have been Tyler. Just the way that the house was going. At least we put all our Survivor votes on Tyler, so we kind of hoped it would be him. But it was basically the best thing for me to do.
And you never know what the arena is going to look like. And TJ has you and Chris aligning barrels, making trick shots. I mean, you can't prepare for this kind of stuff. What was that elimination like, and how long were you out there, and did you feel like you could win?
Yeah, I mean, these challenges that they come up with are hilarious. Whatever college they went to, these designers of the games, they're insane. You cannot lift enough, you can't bench press enough weight to get ready for that challenge. It's totally different every single time. This was just weirdly hard for me. I thought I would be good. I won a very similar challenge on Survivor. So I felt really confident. My whole life, I was throwing balls and hoops and baskets, always, trying to be as accurate as I possibly can. And, this is just one of those things where you have to have your angles right. You have to throw that ball perfectly. It took us all 150 balls that they provided us with for one of us to win. I think it took 45 minutes of shooting and realigning those barrels. And you just hope to God that you have that right shot. Maybe I didn't play enough beer pong in college or something, but it's something that you just can't prepare for, and you have to do your best in the moment. So I still wish I had another elimination. It sucked.
Well, that's what's so funny about how these big guys are always sort of like people are scared of them, but there's only really been one super physical elimination challenge so far, and that was between Tori and Janae. If you have Corey or someone like that out there playing trick shots, there's really nothing to be afraid of.
Not at all. And I think that would have been a perfect opportunity to get Corey out because, he might not be very good at it. Like he's a running back. He's not a basketball shooter or whatever, but that would have been a good one to target one of the bigger physical guys because that's a challenge or an elimination that they could very well lose, very much. It's very possible for them to just strike out. So I was hoping it would have been him, but we just ended up going with, Tyler on that one.
You formed a connection with Tori on this challenge. It was a little unexpected for both of you. Did that cloud your judgment? Did it hurt your game? Did it make you a bigger target, or no impact? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it was so weirdly organic. Like, obviously, we both liked each other a lot, and it was just hard for us to separate. We were like magnets. Every single challenge we did together in the house, we slept together every single night. She was like my best girlfriend out there, and obviously, the romance side of it helps. But I think we were pretty good. Like, it didn't really affect the game too much. Of course, my Survivor girls and Chris were like, don't get too close, don't get too wrapped up in what she's saying. She's gonna try and captivate you, but she let me play my own game. I let her play her own game. She was with, the vets the whole time, and I was with Survivor. She said, I don't want this relationship between the two of us to affect either one of our games. And I think everybody in the house kind of like knew that we were just, we liked each other, and that was it. At the end of the game, though, when we saw like a path to the final, they showed that one clip where Michaela and Desi and Chanel and Bananas and Tori were forming this plan to the end. I was part of that. Like, I was part of the girls. They wanted me to go with them, and I was starting to get closer with Bananas. So we started to work together at the end, but it really didn't affect much of the gameplay in the beginning.
On this episode where you went home, that daily challenge, you were 1 point away from winning over Faisal. How much would that have changed things for you? Because you would have then gone in with Tori to deliberate. Who do you think you would have targeted? And would she have been on board with that?
Yeah, so depressing to lose that one. I thought, TJ even said it. He's like, I think Sebastian's going to win this one. He just looks like it. And, so close. It's harder than it looks. But he's a slam ball trampoline professional basketball player now. So he's a natural on the tramp. Unfortunate, to have him win. I needed that win, obviously, so bad. And we could have went on a deliberation date, brought the bottle of wine down to the table. And I think we were on the same game plan. Like, we talked on the bus ride home from the challenge, who we wanted to put in, or who I wanted Tori to say. And we would not have put Chris and Cassidy in because she was working with the Survivor girls and didn't want to put anyone on that bat. We probably would have went Alyssa and Tyler, which would have been the best scenario. Just get more big brothers out and keep Survivor strong and keep us strong. So it was depressing, but that's the game, man. You got to roll with it.
How would you compare this experience to your experience on Survivor? You're definitely in a more comfortable environment, like you have a house, but were the social and gameplay aspects any more less or more stressful?
I think it's a very similar game. I think it's, besides the fact that you have a shower and a bed and food and alcohol, to keep you going in the challenge house, it's the same game. You're strategizing. Like, it was very beneficial for me, I think, to be on Survivor as opposed to Big Brother, because these challenges and the way you think about the gameplay is so simple. Like, that's why the Big Brother players went home, I think, so early, because they couldn't handle it. It's just a different game, and Survivor and the challenge are very similar, in my opinion. So it was a blessing for me to figure out the game of Survivor, and then, I'm still figuring out the challenge. I'll be back next season. Just doing this season alone was so beneficial for me. Like, gameplay wise, watching these vets, the way that they play, I'm always learning. So it was cool to see that side of it, but definitely helped me out on Survivor.
Well, one of the big differences is people come in with connections. I mean, these people, other people have different friendships outside of the house. That's very different than a group of strangers, thrown on an island together.
Yeah, I think just like Josh, he's my neighbor in Miami. We hang out, we go to the bars, and I didn't really know anybody else on the cast, but just having that relationships with all the Survivor people right off the bat, it helps. But that's why these vets are so good, is because they played so many seasons together. They've all become, so close. And thankfully for us, they only gave us 6 of them, but Josh and Fessy, you got to throw those in because they've been playing a while now too. So relationships definitely help. I think me being so close with Tori now, she's my neighbor. We might play another season again. Josh and I have gotten so much closer, and just using what you already have to get to the end, anything helps,
What was the most difficult challenge of the whole season?
Well, the one I went home on. No, I had so much fun with each one of these challenges. There's just, I don't know who creates these games, but they're all so amazing. Like, you're literally a human board game. You're a piece of the puzzle, and you just have to mold yourself. But I don't know if I had a least favorite. Every single one was just amazing to me, and I was pretty good at all of them. So I was happy with my performance on all of them. But you know, that's the game. They're always different.
I know with relationships, you probably have some ideas of how things go from here, but up until the point of your elimination, like when you went home, who were you thinking at the moment was really set up well? Like, who do you think had the best game and the safest path to the end at the moment you left?
Desi. Desi, everybody wanted to take Desi to the end. She's a sweetheart, like the most beautiful human ever, perfectly posed, but she's a badass. Everybody wants to take strength to the end. And, you know, I think her moving over to Team Blue, she got a lot of relationships, started closer with, you know, Bananas and Tori, which is a huge blanket, you know, to cover yourself with. So I think Desi, she was really in the best position, you know, to make it to the end. And I think, you know, hopefully she does that. But she was kind of totally forgotten about in the game.
And you mentioned that you'd like to return some possible upcoming seasons. Is this for Challenge USA on CBS? Is this the regular challenge on MTV? Are you open to all possibilities? Are you happy to be in this new challenge family?
Dude, I am so happy. This is where I need to be. This is my professional sport of choice now. Like we're professional athletes in a sense. I can't wait to play again. I will play again. I'll be back. But anything that comes my way, whether it's MTV version or USA 3, I like the way USA does the show. I think the producer Kevin, he's awesome. But I haven't done the MTV version. I want to do it, but we'll see what happens. But I'm in the best shape of my life I've ever been. I feel the most focused. I don't have a girlfriend. I'm single. I can focus on myself, and you know, I'm ready. I feel so much energy to do this again. I can't wait.
So you and Tori didn't take things outside of the house.
Who said that? No, she's my neighbor. We live in Miami together, which is crazy. So we still have fun. We just don't want the title of boyfriend girlfriend. Like I just had my 5-year relationship end with Jenna from Survivor, and then she was, you know, obviously with Jordan the whole time, and we just want this time in our lives to, like, for self growth. We don't want to have to. She's so busy. She's writing books. She's doing all this stuff. I've got my own shit going on. We get together on the weekends and we have fun. But yeah, it's so nice to have her as a really close friend in Miami. We got a sailboat and a catamaran in Croatia and spent like a little honeymoon week out there. So that was like pretty cool to have.
Well, Sebastian, sorry to see you go out this early, but it was fun to see you on this season of the Challenge USA, and we hope to see you back. And thanks for chatting with Gold Derby.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's been a blast, and you will see me next time. We'll be doing this at the end when I win.
All right.